Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you.
When can specializing in one sport actually protect my teens' joy and growth? And when does it cross the line and create damage?
So you're saying specialization can actually be a good move?
It can. Hang in there. Hang in there.
We just recorded 3 episodes about the danger of specialization. So can we make an argument for this?
I think we can.
I think
But you got to listen. You got to listen to the whole episode. If you haven't listened to the previous 3, starting with 128, you should.
Yes, sir. Well, are we on 128 now?
We are. Oh, did I say 128?
Yeah.
Starting with 125. So 125, 26, 27, and we are now on number 128. Which, by the way, congratulations, Coach Crandall. I remember when we were wondering if we were going to do 3 of these total. We're on 128.
It's been fun. Specialization pays off.
That's correct.
Right? We kind of specialized a little bit and got better. But no, specialization is like, it's kind of become that scary buzz. Like nobody wants to be accused of doing that, but it's not automatically evil. It's not inherently the problem. When it gets dangerous is when it's early, when it's exclusive, like we talked about exclusive, where it's that exclusive grind, pounding the hours. And fear can drive a lot of this as well. Fear of missing out, a lot of other fears. And if it's driven by those things, then it does get dangerous. However, there's a point where thoughtful specialization within the healthy guardrails that we've talked about can be a great choice and really allow somebody to develop a unique set of skills. Shout out to Liam Neeson, but allow them to develop that unique set of skills. You know, when I love watching people play games with joy, I will always remember Carmelo Anthony playing at Syracuse. The one year that he played there, he smiled so much when he was playing on the court. He was just clearly playing with a level of joy where it was just easy to see how much he loved the game. And if your kid finds that level of joy in what they're playing and it looks more like rec ball, it's like a walk in the park, they're just enjoying it. That helps so much. And as long as your kid can feel that level of joy for something, why not specialize? Why not focus and really allow them to excel? So by the end of our episode, we want you to listen to some of these arguments. And we know that some of you have phenomenally talented kids. And we want you to help them be the best that they could be. So we're going to make an argument for how to make specialization work. We're going to talk about where to draw the line and how to walk away with the criteria of this is going to be healthy versus this might be harmful if we do it. So I'm looking forward to diving into this more, Steve.
Yeah, I really love that the healthy versus harmful.
Yeah. Great way to look at it.
Yeah. So when does laser focus build greatness? When does it break kids? I think the when is a really important part of this because you said earlier, specialization isn't automatically evil. It's dangerous when it's early.
Yes.
And early to us is before high school.
Well,
is.
Yeah. Here's where it's bad early. You see rankings for 10-year-olds. You see.
You're not exaggerating. You are not exaggerating.
And it's in multiple sports. And, you know, football used to be kind of a little different, but now football has this weird tangential thing with 7-on-7 where you get these 7-on-7 teams that now play almost year round and they have rankings and it's crazy. But if we're ranking 10-year-olds, if we have 10 and 11-year-old baseball players running around with equipment to measure their exit velocity, like that's kind of bananas, isn't it?
It's bananas or nuts or both. It's crazy.
And that's the early that we're talking about there. The early, the exclusive, the fear driven. Oh my gosh, my kid's not ranked in the top 10 and he's in seventh grade. What am I going to do? So, but there are ways to do this right. When it comes at the right time with the right support system, it can really help kids to excel. So I would love to share some of the thoughts that I have about when it can work and how to make it work. If that's all right.
Yeah, on that baseball thing, you are not going to convince me that playing on a travel team out of state with other good players is better long-term development than a kid playing in his own city and taking 4 times the amount of ground balls that he's going to take just going to play in some glamour games. He's not
get good reps.
Yeah, he's not developing. I would also say, we haven't brought this up, but we often talk about this. In those rankings, is that really about the kid?
It's about the company that provides the rankings. I think a lot of times you see those are very social media driven. You have somebody that wants to build their social media brand, and so they'll go out and they'll rank all these kids, and then they post it, and now people pay attention to them.
Yeah.
The kids who are ranked are like, oh my gosh, and they share it with a billion people, and then people follow it. And then the kids that aren't ranked are like, oh my gosh, look at this crap, and they share it. And so it's a way for those people to drive up their views and their subscribers simply by making rankings for 10-year-olds.
Yeah. So Nate, make your case for specialization.
So here's when I think it can work. The targeted focus would definitely help with clarity. Getting clear about what you're after. We talked in the strengths assessment that we shared. Can you create clarity about their strengths and help them to really go after one? It avoids the chaos and it helps them to narrow it down. Doing too many things, and a lot of the research talks about this, when kids are overloaded, overwhelmed, they don't get good at anything. And that's when they burn out. But if you manage focus on one specific thing for a specific reason, it can be good. The reps, when you're specialized, you have an opportunity to connect with maybe some more in-depth coaching. And again, this is where the exclusive grind, going over the top with the number of reps.
Right.
But if you get quality reps with the right people and the right coaching, it can definitely help them develop some of those skills. If you narrow down the focus, you have fewer logistical conflicts. If I know what my main sport is, it allows me to have clarity for structuring my things, and I can more easily structure in some downtime. Coaching continuity can also help out with this as well. Being with a coach for a long period of time can build for a more stable, stronger relationship, especially if you have a great coach that knows your kid and values your kid as a human being. And that's so important if you're going to specialize, man, make sure that you've got the right coach, because the wrong coaches in a specialized situation can be very, very damaging. So having that continuity with the right coach, the right leader, can help them out for sure. It allows you to create a healthy environment where you can have a low pressure specialization. If you manage it well and talk about it, you can create a supportive environment with scheduled downtime that takes some of the pressure off. You know your kid's doing something that they love, and so you can continue to reinforce that and help them out. They can learn more things knowing that they love it, but learning to fight through even when it's hard. Don't make it about the scholarships. Make it about the growth. Make it about the joy. Make it about the engagement. Those are all good things. We are definitely not arguing for the nonstop grind starting at age 8. What we are talking about is a focused effort at the right time for the right kid. And this involves a lot of communication, a lot of focused effort on the part of parents to set things up and make sure that the right people are surrounding them. But that clarity can really help streamline and move things forward.
Yeah. And for me, it's much later than age 8 when you would even, we're not even arguing for nonstop grind at age 16 or 17. Right. Yeah.
It creates, you can set it up smart. It allows you to be strategic. Strategic's the word that I love here. If we can be strategic about the approach to specialization, there's a lot of good that can come out of it.
Right. Okay. Without repeating everything in episode 126, the case against specialization, and we're talking about doing it the wrong way and doing it too early. You are going to get overuse injuries. You risk burnout. We see it all the time. And this is when people have no guardrails set up. They are too exclusive. They think they're capitalizing on early success from a player, from their kids who are really good at a younger age. And this is going to also create an identity problem. You and I, Nate, talk about being a person rather than being a volleyball player, soccer player. It is Lisa. It's not Lisa, the volleyball player. And because then when you have injuries, if you get benched, if you end up not developing and you're no longer playing, if your identity is attached to that, that is just awful. That's going to have some long-term consequences. And then also this early specialization. This is something that you will hear a lot about out there in the world right now. And that is the cost, because youth sports has become a billion-dollar industry, and you have 7-year-olds and 8-year-old teams, and their parents are spending dropping a couple $1,000s for a weekend tournament. Not to say that those experiences and things, that everything is terrible. I'm sure there's a lot of fun. You get to see different places. There's definitely some benefits. But if you're going to do that at that young of an age, this is going to be a grind on not only on your bank account, but on your time, on your family. One thing we have not touched on, Nate, but what about the siblings that are forced to go to some of these things? And I'm not saying, like, as one who sat in the car many times back in the 70s, who sat in a station wagon while my mom talked to somebody or ran an errand or whatever, I'm not saying that they need to be pampered all the time. And sometimes you go along to get along, but that's another issue right there with the siblings that get stuck into this.
Yep. What's the hard no line? Where would you tell any parent you need to pull back?
I actually think it's should be fairly obvious, because it's going to start wearing on everybody.
Yep.
So when the joy starts to get sucked out of this, remember when in a previous episode when we said when the kid starts dreading?
Yes.
Well,
That's
what
a
if
good hard no line?
What if you start dreading? And what if somebody else in the family starts dreading? It probably is a time to ask some questions.
Definitely ask some questions. You need to make an adjustment there. I think the biggest one is the participant, is the player still finding joy in it. Because if I have a kid who's finding a lot of joy in it, but I'm starting to dread it, then I can do some strategic things that allow the kid to continue to capitalize on the joy, but I can make some adjustments that help me. And this is, again, the communication involved in this, the self-awareness, a lot of the stuff we've talked about, but just being aware of, joy and engagement. Those are two big measures there.
So, Nate, we love to go practical. I really love to go practical. Here's some criteria, kind of a checklist for parents to help them we call this criteria for healthy specialization at a later age.
Yep.
So the first one is timing. This is going to be more appropriate in mid to late teens. I always thought 15, 16. But the timing is going to be so important, and you need to make sure they're sampling other sports, other activities. And you were using the strength snapshot tool to help determine their strengths.
Yep. Another thing on the checklist is, who is the one that's driving this? If the teen is asking for more, that's a really good sign. If the teen's like, man, I love this, I really want to get into this more. They even love a bit of the grinds. They can survive the tough practices. They bounce back from the challenges faster. The teen is the one doing the driving. That's a great sign.
Love it. Next one is, are we inside the guardrails? So the hours rule, the free play ratio, off-season block, injury and mood checks. You're honoring all of those things.
Yeah, so critical. The multiple identities approach. I am a person who plays this. I am a person who performs this. They should be a student. They should be a friend, a family member, a person of faith, creator, other things other than just being exclusively an athlete. And if they have those, awesome.
Great.
Perfect.
And the last one on this criteria is the joy versus anxiety on most days. Okay, so looking at this consistently over time, because we know tough days happen, but the overall experience needs to be meaningful and mostly energizing. If the joy is getting sucked out and the anxiety is going up, it's time to reevaluate.
Definitely.
So, Nate, here we are in 128, episode 128, the fourth in a series on specialization in sport. Give us your final message.
Well, I just want to remind our MVPs, it's not about following the loudest club coach. It's not about dropping thousands. It's about working with your kid. We are the Stop Parenting, Start Coaching podcast. And as an MVP, your job is to coach your kid with data, with curiosity, with courage, with love, and make it about them. Help them to have the experience that they want to out of this. So 3 quick questions that parents can use just to kind of filter for this right now. First, what is my teen actually showing me with their performance, durability, and drive? Second, are we inside or outside the guardrails? Are we on that road and we don't even realize it? Or are we moving in a healthy direction? And the last one, and I love this one, if college sports disappeared tomorrow, would our current schedule still make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the only reason you're doing this is to get a college scholarship, why? You can get college scholarships with your academics. Do you need to have the college paid for? It's worth asking that. If college sports were to completely disappear, would you still do it? Would it make sense? And if it does, if it's just for the joy of the game, man, that's a terrific sign. But that's a fun way to look at it. If college sports was gone, would it change?
I love that. I love that. Okay, parents, we want to encourage you to have a little state of the season conversation with your teen athlete or performer and go through the questions that we've asked, go through the guardrails, look at the time ratio, all of these tools that we've given you in these 4 episodes to help you make better decisions. We'd also love to hear how this is going in your families and with your teen athletes and performers. And so feel free to reach out to us. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Steve Galley. That would be a great place to ask us questions. And I also want to throw this in too, Nate, because we talk about specialization and it is always related to the physical part of the game, where we're playing volleyball, we're playing soccer, we're playing football, we're doing reps, we're in the weight room, we're doing our speed training, we're doing all these different things to physically get better. One of the most neglected things, and you will hear this from coaches everywhere at every level, they will tell you this is true. One of the most neglected things with our athletes is the mental phase of the game, the mental
Definitely.
game. And so that's why we just finished one up this fall. We're doing another Prime Your Mind virtual coaching intensive with high school athletes or performer, male or female. And we'll have more information on that on LinkedIn and also on this podcast throughout the month of December. I think this episode is going to be coming out mid-December. So if you are interested in learning more about that opportunity for your son or daughter, please message me on LinkedIn. Nate, go ahead. Give us a final word here.
Well, we sure appreciate you being with us through this series and taking the topic of your kids seriously and looking at how to create a healthy environment for them. We love that they're motivated and they want to be great. And thanks for having us on this journey. This is such an important thing to think about because we want mentally healthy kids. We want physically healthy kids. We want kids that don't get overwhelmed with stress and anxiety. And this should be a fun journey. It should be a fun time of life for them. Doing these things learning to understand how to bring the joy and engagement back to that life. And that usually leads to confidence and happier kids. So thanks for being here with us. Continue to follow us on the Stop Parenting, Start Coaching YouTube channel for more great content. We believe in you, parents. We know that you're doing a phenomenal job raising some pretty spectacular young people. So thanks for sharing your journey with us.
Nate Crandall and Steve Gallen would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.